Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zach, and for the last week I've been driving the 2025 GMC Hummer SUV 3X. Below me are 3 electric motors powering this all-electric behemoth of an automobile. That's right, we finally got to spend a full week with the Hummer EV. It's been a few years since I've driven the Hummer EV, and the last one that I drove was in 2022, and it was a truck. So now we get to live with the SUV, spend 7 full days with it, and I'll give you plenty of thoughts on if this is a good car or not. But if you would like to submit your own vehicle and have it reviewed here on the channel, you can head on over to my website, zackpradel.com/submit. It's a quick and easy submission form. It takes under a minute to fill out, and I come out to you. And if you'd like to see all my videos weeks or sometimes months in advance, you can head on over to my Patreon for only $5 a month. Well, let's get back to that all-electric drivetrain. Well, that is one of the many things that make the EV Hummer special, and EPA estimated range is low 300s. I only saw upper 280, 290s when I was driving it this week, and boy, is this thing inefficient. Don't worry, just like the earlier Hummers from the 2000s, this is just as inefficient. I've been averaging 1.5 miles per kilowatt hour. That's half of what I would get with a Hyundai Ioniq product, or even the Ford Lightning F-150 got just above 2. This is well into the ones, like my high school GPA. But that's not why you buy something like this. You buy something like this because it's flashy and it's fast. And when it goes, it goes. It feels like the nose is picked up off the ground when you put your foot down. It's engaging. It's almost a little unsure of itself under acceleration, but that gives it pizzazz and personality, unlike a lot of other EVs. Other EVs, you put your foot flat to the floor and you go really fast, and it's quiet, you hear the wind, and that's it. But this, a little bit of fanfare to it. There's a little bit of cheekiness when you get on the gas. Now, charging hasn't been great, although I will say this was a very cool moment for me. I actually did get to charge at a GM specific charger. This was my first time doing this. It was really special because I grew up with the Who Killed the Electric Car documentary and the EV1 and all of that stuff. So to actually charge a GM product off of GM Energy like they had promised in the early 2000s was really special. However, it did take a little while. It cost about $40 to go from 30% to 80%, which isn't great. So charging times, range, not really the Hummer's strong suit, but that's okay. Now, this is 4-wheel drive. However, the rear wheels do turn, which significantly helps with the turning radius and has been very, very helpful. How does it feel to drive the Hummer EV? It feels like you're wearing a buff suit. It is tough. First of all, okay, it is huge. This thing is absolutely massive. Parked in a regular parking spot, it nearly touches either line, and the mirrors overhang slightly. This is a wide, wide boy. And those 3 orange lights on the roof, a lot of aftermarket companies will do that for style. That's actually a law here in America. Because this vehicle is so wide, you have to have those 3 orange lights like the Raptor to show that you are wider than the standard vehicle. So very, very interesting there. However, it's quick. Driving it physically is easy, but it's this behemoth. It's this force of nature, and I absolutely love it. One downside of drivability, honestly, is that the windshield is actually really short, so sometimes if you pull up to a stoplight, you have to duck your head in order to see it. One of the weird quirks of the Hummer EV, and I wouldn't have it any other way. With that stuff out of the way, let's talk about the interior. Well, in front of me, I have a completely digital gauge cluster. Much like GM's other digital gauge clusters, I do find this to be a little bit cluttered. There's a lot to look at. There's not a very high contrast. And so while the speed is easy to see, I wish that the battery gave you a legitimate percentage, not just a bar in between 100 and 0. I found that to be rather confusing during my week with the car. On the steering wheel, on the left, we do have our adaptive cruise control options. This does have Super Cruise, which is GM's hands-free cruise control, and I'll have a completely separate video talking about that, but it's here in the 3X Hummer SUV. And off to the right, we have some selectors, voice commands, phone options, and our Hummer EV badge down at the bottom. Off to the left, we do have a very tall, very slender climate vent, power parking brake, frunk, trunk, lane keep assist, all windows down, outlet control, and our gauge dimmer switch. And moving on to the door, we have our 2 levels of memory seats, power locks, power mirrors, and power windows. You also get this giant grab handle to help you get into this large automobile. Moving up above me, we do have T-tops above all 4 seating positions. So not only are there front T-tops, but there are also rear T-tops. Very, very cool, and I feel like an often overlooked feature of the Hummer EV. When I think of a removable hardtop roof, I think of the Jeep Wrangler and I think of the Ford Bronco, but the Hummer EV has it as well. We also get a digital rear view mirror. This has been very nice during my week with it. I like that GM is doing this. You also do have a switch up here to roll down the rear window. The rear window does come down like a Toyota 4Runner, and I love that. And down below, we have our infotainment display. This does have wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. We also do get a 360 camera, which has been very, very nice. As I mentioned, this is a very large vehicle, and we do have some off-road pages. So you can swipe through a couple things here. Really, really cool information that they give you. I'm very happy to see all of this. And the infotainment has been easy to use enough. It does have Google integrated into it, which has been nice as well. So if you don't hook up your phone, you still get to use Google Maps, which is my preferred map method. Down below, we do have some climate controls that are on the screen, but then you use the physical buttons down below them to control it. So for the fan speed, although it is on a screen, the actual button for it is down below and physical. So this is a great use of it. It's dynamic, it looks modern, feels modern, but still has that tactile use that I'm craving in modern cars. Then we have even more buttons down below for the heated steering wheel, locking differentials, hazard switch, traction control off, parking sensors, and parking assist. Then we have 2 climate control vents, USB-A as well as USB-C, wireless charger, the shifter, which is a somewhat traditional shifter. Wasn't really expecting this. And then our mode select. So this is not only for the drive modes, which have the coolest animations probably in the business. They look like the game engine from like Halo Reach, or no, sorry, the like Halo Master Chief Collection, or Halo Infinite. It looks like a video game is what I'm trying to say. And we have a bunch of different modes that we could cycle through. I think that this is amazing attention to detail. And honestly, I could sit here and just watch these animations for a very long time. But we also have buttons on that mode select to raise and lower the vehicle. This does have air suspension. And we have cup holders off to the right. So we will do a big friggin' bottle test for the first time in the Hummer SUV. And I think it goes down far enough. It's a tight, tight squeeze, but that's okay. I'm going to give the Hummer SUV 3X a pass for the big friggin' bottle test. Then we do get a huge center console with a 12-volt outlet in there, and the seats. The seats have been comfortable. They are heated, ventilated, power, and memory, and I enjoy them quite a bit. They're pretty simple beyond that. They do say Hummer EV on them, which is a nice little touch, but again, not necessary. However, speaking of seats, we do have back seats, so let's go do a back seat review. All right, so we're in the back of the Hummer SUV, and this is a new experience because I haven't done the SUV yet. I've done the truck, I've done the GMC Sierra, I've done the Chevy Silverado, all kind of share a platform, kind of sister vehicles, but I haven't been in the back of the SUV. This is kind of on its own playing field because there isn't an SUV version of the Sierra or Silverado. So very cool. That being said, we do have our own climate controls down below, heated seats, USB-C as well as USB-A, and a giant cubby. We also do have openable cup holders, but the big thing is that I fit back here. And I fit back here very, very well. I don't have to cram, I don't have to squeeze, none of that. We do also get T-tops as well. I don't know if I can do it with, oh yeah, see, there you go. You can lift the top off. It is very chilly today, so I'm going to keep it on. But you could do that, and potentially, if you had one kid that wanted the T-top off and no one else, you could just remove this one and just have them getting nailed by the air, and everyone else can keep their heated seats on and be fine. So that's kind of nice. Anyway, let's hop into the very back. We'll take a quick look at the trunk and cargo space, not the bed, the trunk, and then we'll talk about the looks. All right, around the back of the Hummer EV, so big. Down here, this is the button to open up the rear tailgate. So hit the button here, and it is, allegedly, why is it mad at me? Oh. I don't know why it worked the second time and not the first. It is a power door. So very strange. So come back down here. There's no physical handle. It's a power tailgate that opens up to the side and only one side at that. You would think that would have some type of handle on either side. I don't know if there's a non-power, alternative. If the battery's dead, can you get back here? I don't know, but just hit the button. There you go. And it opens up like that. We do have a giant Hummer EV logo in there. We do have our charger. This is the at-home charger. We have a wall outlet over here. And we have buttons here to put down the second row of seats because they are so far away. Now, unfortunately, that is not back up, but this is all of the cargo space that you get in the back of the Hummer EV when you do put those down. You can pull this up as well. Some storage down here as well. So very cool to see all of that. And then, like I said, little button down here, and it closes right back up. Power operated, very, very strange. And of course, because it is an EV, we do have a frunk. Hit it twice here. As you can see, the outside lights do that fun little thing. And here is the frunk. Now, what we have up here, I believe these are individual leather bags for the T-tops. So that's why we have 4 of them. There we go. Look at that nice logo. I think that these are going to be collector's items at some point. I think 20, 30 years down the road, someone's going to find one of these on whatever the equivalent of Facebook Marketplace is. And in the ad, it's going to say includes the leather bags for the T-tops. And someone's going to go, oh, it has the bags. It has the bags. I can't believe it. So very cool to see all of that. We also have our emergency release and 12-volt outlet off to the side. This is a very sizable frunk. Not every EV does a frunk. Every EV should do a frunk, but not every one does, so I'm very happy to see this. Now we gotta talk about the looks, and honestly, I think that this thing looks awesome. Now we'll do the walk around now here at sunset. I purposefully waited till it was later in the day. I do think that this car looks better later in the day. Unfortunately, I wish that GM would send more non-white press vehicles. I had a Traverse that was white. I just drove a Cadillac CT4V Blackwing that was white, and GM makes so many good, interesting, quality colors. I think that they have some of the best paint in the automotive space, and yet they keep sending us like flat white cars. I'm very grateful, but I want them to showcase what they can do. And so I think the Hummers in the other colors look a lot better, but this is still a fantastic vehicle. I like all the LED lighting around it, and it just has presence, man. It's so many people commented on it. Everywhere I went, some guy at Jewel yelled across the parking lot asking if it was an A1 Abrams tank. Now, I think he was a little off his rocker, but that's the kind of attention that this gets. And when you buy one of these, that's what you want. You buy one of these for the attention. There are better SUVs out there. There are better EVs out there. There are better off-road vehicles out there. But this gets a reaction out of people. This raises people's eyebrows and curls their lip. And so that is a huge selling point visually for the Hummer EV. With all of that being said, let's get on to my final thoughts. What do I think having driven and spent a full week with the Hummer EV SUV 3X? Well, I like it a lot. And I say that begrudgingly because I really expected to dislike it. I think from the outside looking in, I kind of scoff at these because they are a big ego car. Even the original Hummers back in the late 90s, early 2000s, you see one and you go, oh boy, here we go. And when you see this, you say, oh boy, here we go. But driving it, I loved it. I loved every time I hopped in here. I felt very, very cool. I felt special. There was a sense of occasion getting behind the wheel as opposed to just getting in a soulless, numb EV. A lot of EVs struggle with the fact that they don't have much of a personality. They all drive the same. They all have weird door handles. They all have big touch screens. They all have ambient lighting that you could choose 64 different ways. But this has some character outside of that. Even if this was a gas vehicle, I think it would have the same kind of presence. And that can't be said about a lot of the competition. You take that EV drivetrain away and they're just whatever. But this still holds on to that identity. This is a brute. This is a force of nature. This is undeniable. And so that has been nice. I am very lucky where I have had 2 press cars this week. Another company sent me another car to test for a week at the exact same time as this car. And I don't want to harm the other car or the name of the other car. But long story short, anytime I came out of the house, I got into this. I wanted to drive this. If it was up to me, I took this car because I just liked it. And you know what? Maybe I don't need any other reason than that. It's just fun. I just like it. And sometimes I do things, and sometimes you should do things in life that you just like. You don't really have to have a reason for it. You don't have to explain anything to anyone. You can just like stuff. Hey, do you like doodling the characters from Pokemon into scenes from The Sopranos? That's fine. Do it if it makes you happy. Do you enjoy going to Weehawken, New Jersey and pretending to be Alexander Hamilton with a cap gun? Do it. I'm not going to judge you. I like the Hummer SUV. I like it a lot, and it just makes me happy. Judge me. Don't judge me, whatever it is. I like it. It's inefficient. It's brutal. It's in your face. There is absolutely no need for this vehicle to exist. And yet it does, and I'm happy for it. That's how I feel about the SUV Hummer EV. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Huge thank you to GMC for letting me borrow their Hummer SUV for the last 7 days. Huge thank you to G Schmidt for facilitating the cleaning and delivery of this vehicle. And of course, thank you to the Midwestern Automotive Media Association. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.